I used to teach history. 35 years, 3 schools, 2 states. My name's Walter Jennings, and there was a time the kids called me Mr. J, like I was some kind of superhero. I guess I liked that. Back then, I walked into classrooms with a steaming thermos of black coffee and a briefcase full of dusty books and bigger dreams. I believed that if I taught them about the wars, the revolutions, the mistakes, we could all avoid making them again. Funny, isn't it? I spent my life teaching about the past, only to be erased from the present. The hospital walls smell like bleach and boiled carrots. I've been here 4 days. They say it was dehydration and a fall. I say it was loneliness, but no one charts that. I still remember their voices echoing down the hallway that night, my 2 sons, Mark and Jacob. They were arguing just outside the emergency room. He can't live alone anymore. He'll be better off in a place where they watch him. Dad's not who he used to be. They didn't know I was listening. They never knew I heard every word. I wasn't unconscious. I was just quiet. You learn to do that when people stop wanting your opinion. Mark came in first. His tie was too tight. He looked like he had somewhere better to be. He always does. "Hey, Dad," he said, without looking me in the eyes. "Doctors say you're gonna be okay. We just need to figure out what's next." I asked, "What do you mean by next?" He didn't answer. Just patted my hand like I was 5 years old and said, "Try to rest." Jacob followed. More nervous. He inherited my hands, trembling at the fingertips. He sat on the edge of the plastic chair and stared at the floor. "I'm sorry, Pop," he whispered. "For what?" I asked. But he didn't answer either. I was released the next day. Not to my home. To a state facility. Ward 7. Shared room. Beige curtains. One TV that never works. They left me there with 2 changes of clothes and a box of crackers. No framed photos. No books. Not even my glasses. I haven't seen my dog, Abby, in weeks. No one said where she went. Every evening I watch the door like a man waiting for parole. And every evening it stays closed. I used to think the greatest betrayal was someone hurting you. Now I know, it's someone forgetting you exist. The nurses here call me Walt, like they know me. They don't. They know my blood pressure. My pill schedule. My bathroom accidents. But not that I once stood in front of 1,400 students, made kids love the Constitution, stayed after school with kids who had nowhere else to go. They don't know I buried my wife 6 years ago, and haven't eaten a single Christmas dinner at a table since. They don't know my life had weight once. But this isn't a sob story. It's just the beginning. Because on the 4th night, I met someone. A woman. Not young. Not chatty. She walked past my room, stopped, then looked in like she recognized me. "You're Jennings, right? Taught at Roosevelt High?" I blinked, confused. "Yes." She smiled. "You once gave me a C for plagiarizing an essay." "You were right." I cried for a week. I laughed. "First time in days." She said, "You were the best teacher I ever had." Then she walked away. And just like that, I remembered who the hell I was. Her name was Lena Whitaker. I remembered her the moment she said her name, though 30 years had passed. Quiet girl. Sat near the window. Used to doodle suns and skeletons in the margins of her history tests. Had a sadness in her eyes that most teachers ignored, but I noticed. She's not a patient here. Turns out she's a nurse supervisor now. Imagine that. The girl I once caught cheating is now running an entire wing of this broken place. Life has a way of circling back. The next day, she came again. This time, she brought coffee. Real coffee, not the thin, bitter soup they serve with powdered creamer in the cafeteria. Mr. J, she said, setting it down carefully on my tray, you look smaller than I remember. I looked at her. That's what happens when people stop looking. We talked for 20 minutes. Maybe 30. She asked about my sons. I said, they're busy. She asked about my late wife, Claire. I said, she was my lighthouse. When she died, I just drifted. That night, I lay in bed thinking about everything I never said. I never told Claire I should have retired earlier. That I was tired. That I missed her cooking, not just the food, but the clatter of pans, the humming, the little things. I never told Mark I was proud of him even when he failed the bar exam. Never told Jacob I knew he was scared when his first wife left him, and that he didn't have to carry that shame alone. They probably think I forgot. But I remember. I remember everything. On the 7th day in Ward 7, a social worker visited. Mr. Jennings, we are reviewing your case for long-term care. We'll need to contact your family for decisions moving forward. I gave a small nod. She looked over her clipboard. Your sons haven't returned our calls. I bit the inside of my cheek. Hard. She continued, if no one claims guardianship, the state will arrange. I'm not a sofa, I said. She blinked. Excuse me? I'm not a sofa you drop off and never pick up. She smiled politely, then made a note and left. Another box ticked. Another life filed. Later, I sat at the tiny plastic table in the rec room, watching a man named Joe build a 500-piece puzzle with only 412 pieces. He does it every day, never complains. Says it's a good metaphor for life. I asked Lena, do they even teach history anymore? She shrugged. Mostly tests now. Memorization. Performance metrics. Do they teach about dignity? Only when someone loses it. I looked at the puzzle, then back at her. I'm going to teach one more lesson, I said. She tilted her head. What do you mean? You'll see. That night, I didn't sleep. I wrote a letter. No, a curriculum. One final class. Not for students. For my sons. Excerpt from the letter. History repeats when people forget. And forgetting a person is worse than erasing a name from a book, it's burning a whole library. I was your father. I changed your diapers. I wiped your tears when the dog died. I taught you how to shake hands like men. And now I'm a silent file in someone's drawer. You didn't kill me. But you buried me alive. But know this, I am not a victim. I am not broken. You've simply chosen not to see me. But history remembers. And so will you. The next day, I gave the letter to Lena. Mail it when I'm gone, I told her. She frowned. Gone where? I looked out the window at the December sky. Doesn't matter. Just promise me. She nodded. Then I said something I hadn't said in years. Thank you for seeing me. She squeezed my hand. You were never invisible to me. And for the first time in weeks, I felt warm. A week passed. Then another. I stopped watching the door. I stopped expecting a call from Mark or Jacob. Stopped pretending they were just busy or figuring things out. I accepted the truth for what it was. They had moved on without me. At first, it crushed me. But now? Now it frees me. Because there's power in letting go of the people who already let go of you. I started walking again. Slowly at first, gripping the handles of the walker like it owed me something. The nurses cheered like I was a child learning to ride a bike. It was condescending, but I smiled anyway. I had other plans. Lena noticed. "You've changed," she said one morning, pouring my coffee. "I've remembered," I answered. "Remembered what?" "That I'm still someone." We started talking more often. Not just about the past, but about now. About life. About people. About the ways we let silence turn into distance. She told me something that stuck with me. "One of our patients here died 2 weeks ago," she said. "No family. No one claimed the body. He just disappeared." "What was his name?" I asked. She looked down. "I don't remember." That haunted me. Not the death, but the forgetting. That a man could vanish and take all his memories with him, like a book burned in the middle of the night. That wouldn't be me. I asked Lena for access to a printer. She hesitated, but I think she saw it in my eyes, that this was more than just a hobby. I printed a flyer. Just one. In big, black letters. Forgotten teacher. Unforgotten lesson. A talk by Walter Jennings. Saturday, 2 p.m., Rec Room, Ward 7. Free. No RSVP. Come if you've ever been forgotten. I posted it on the bulletin board next to the bingo schedule and lunch menus. Some laughed. Some rolled their eyes. But the nurse from Venezuela said she'd come. So did the janitor. So did Joe, the puzzle guy. Saturday came. I wore a sweater I hadn't worn in years, navy blue, with elbow patches. Claire bought it for me on our 30th anniversary. Said I looked like a professor in it. I guess I wanted to believe her one more time. I shuffled into the rec room. 9 chairs were set up. Only 5 people showed. 2 nurses. Joe. Lena. And a man in a wheelchair who didn't speak. I stood in front of them. My legs shook. My mouth was dry. But when I opened my mouth, the teacher came back. I spoke about being forgotten, but not just by people, by time, by systems, by ourselves. I told them how a man dies twice, once when his heart stops, and again when someone says his name for the last time. I told them that we are not our medical charts. Not our wheelchairs. Not our loneliness. We are the sum of every soul we touched, and those ripples never end. And I ended with this. You can leave a man in a room. But you can't silence a life that meant something. The man in the wheelchair clapped. Slowly. Then others joined. It wasn't much. But it was enough. Later that night, Lena brought me a folder. "What's this?" I asked. "Your evaluations," she said. "From when you were a teacher." I found them online. I opened it. Page after page of student essays, thank you notes, faculty awards. I found one from Lena herself. Handwritten. Probably senior year. It read, "You didn't just teach history. You taught me how to survive it." I cried. For the first time, not from grief, but from gratitude. That night, I slept without nightmares. No falling. No empty chairs. No ringing phones that never get answered. Just silence. And in that silence, peace. The following Monday, I woke up early. No reason. No appointment. Just old habits refusing to die. Sunlight poured through the cracked blinds, warming the linoleum floor. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my hands, veined, trembling, but still mine. That day marked my 74th birthday. No balloons. No cards. No "Happy birthday, Dad." No "We should do dinner soon, Pop." Nothing. Just silence. I shuffled down to the cafeteria, where the jello jiggles more than the people. Joe gave me a nod. Lena smiled a little longer than usual. No one else knew. Or maybe they did and chose not to. It hurt. But I didn't let it own me. I took my tray, found a corner seat, and ate every bite with slow, deliberate care. Not because the food was good, God, it wasn't, but because I refused to disappear quietly. Later that afternoon, Lena brought me an envelope. It came this morning, she said. No return address. My name handwritten on the front, the same crooked handwriting I recognized from years ago. I opened it slowly, hands shaking not from age, but from hope. Inside was a single page. Dad. I'm sorry we left you there. It wasn't right. It wasn't what Mom would have wanted. But Mark said it was the only way to keep you safe. I disagreed. But I didn't fight him hard enough. I think about you every day. Jacob. No phone number. No return address. Just guilt, folded in paper. I stared at it for a long time. My chest ached, not from anger. Not even from sadness. From the realization that regret often comes too late to matter. That evening, I asked Lena if she could help me with something. I need a favor, I said. Anything, she answered. I want to send something to Jacob. I wrote another letter. Not like the first. No bitterness. No fire. This one was short. Simple. Almost quiet. Jacob. Thank you for writing. You made a mistake, and you admitted it. That's more than most people do in a lifetime. I forgive you. But I'm no longer waiting. I've started teaching again, in my own way. You may have left me. But I didn't leave myself. Take care of your brother. And if you ever come see me, come as a son, not a savior. Dad. I sealed it. Gave it to Lena. Mail it tomorrow, I said. No express shipping. Let it take its time. That night, I walked out into the courtyard. Alone. Winter was brushing the air now, crisp and real. I could smell pine from the edge of the property where old trees still stood, refusing to die just because no one noticed them. I sat on a bench, pulled my sweater tight, and looked up at the stars. I remembered my wife. Her laughter. The sound of her slippers in the hallway. The way she used to touch my shoulder gently when I got too lost in my work. She would have hated how the boys treated me. But she would have been proud of how I'm standing up again. I whispered into the cold. I'm still here, Claire. And maybe I imagined it, but I felt the wind answer me back. That night, I started writing something new. Not a letter. Not a complaint. Not a speech. A book. The working title? The Man in Room 7. I wrote the first line and smiled. I wasn't forgotten. I was simply misfiled. By the end of that week, word had spread. About the flyer. About the talk. About the old man in room 7 who used to be someone. Suddenly, the staff began treating me differently. Not with pity, but with curiosity. With a little more care. With a second glance instead of none. One of the younger nurses, maybe 23, came to me after her shift. Mr. Jennings, she said, shifting nervously, my brother just enlisted. He's scared. And honestly, so am I. Can I talk to you? I nodded. We sat in the garden. For 40 minutes, I listened. Then I told her what I told so many students during the Gulf War, the Iraq War, even 9/11. Courage, I said, isn't not being afraid. It's walking forward even when your knees shake. She cried. Hugged me. Said thank you. That moment mattered. More than any exam I ever graded. 2 days later, Joe, the puzzle guy, asked if I'd help him write a letter to his daughter. She won't read it, he mumbled, but maybe I just need to say it. So I helped. We wrote it together. Word by word. Apology by apology. At dinner, a CNA asked me what the word legacy really meant. I told her. Legacy is what echoes when your name no longer does. By Friday, Lena came in with a big cardboard box. What's that? I asked. She grinned. Found them in your old storage unit. Your name was still on the lease. I pulled some strings. She opened it. Inside. My old leather briefcase. Dozens of lesson plans, still annotated in red pen. Claire's recipe book. A black and white photo of us from 1969. And at the very bottom, a VHS tape labeled, Mr. Jennings, Final Lecture, 2002. I stared at it like a time machine. Lena said, we digitized it. Want to watch? That night, they wheeled in a laptop. Joe was there. A few nurses. Even the janitor. The video began. There I was, younger, standing tall in front of an auditorium full of seniors, chalkboard behind me, voice still full of thunder. I said on camera. History doesn't ask if you were tired. Or sad. Or alone. It asks, what did you do anyway? In the video, I smiled. And I said the words I would later forget I ever said. If one person remembers your story, you are not gone. When the video ended, no one spoke. Even Joe's eyes were glassy. I whispered, I used to believe in that man. Lena leaned closer. He never left. A few nights later, I was woken by a knock. Not on the door. On my window. I pulled back the curtain. Jacob. In a coat. In the dark. Eyes red. Hair messy. He raised his hand, almost embarrassed. I opened the window. I didn't know where else to go, he said. I didn't speak. He kept going. I got your letter? And I've been watching your talks. Some nurse put them online. You've got views, Dad. Hundreds. That surprised me. But I didn't show it. I don't expect anything, he said. I just needed to see you. Just once. To say, I'm sorry. And thank you. And I miss you. I looked at him, this grown man I raised, this child who abandoned me, now returned like some lost soldier. I nodded. Said nothing. Opened the door. He came in and sat beside me. We didn't talk. We just breathed the same air again. Sometimes that's enough. The next day, Lena looked at me sideways. You okay? I smiled. Yeah. I think I'm starting to be. I may not have many years left. But I have this one. And I'm using it. 3 weeks later, I received a letter. Real paper. Blue ink. The handwriting was unfamiliar. Inside was a printed email. A message from a student I hadn't seen in over 40 years. Subject, I found you. Dear Mr. Jennings. You probably don't remember me. My name is Lisa Byrne. Roosevelt High, class of '83. You taught me about the fall of Rome, and how to rise after failure. I watched your video online. I cried. I showed it to my son. He cried too. You saved my life once, and I never got to say thank you. So thank you. For seeing me, when no one else did. For showing me that dignity doesn't retire. You are not forgotten. You are a lighthouse still standing. With love. Lisa. I sat on the edge of the bed, the letter trembling in my lap. All this time, I thought my worth ended with the job. With the paycheck. with the title on the door. But here she was, a grown woman, across the country, remembering a moment I'd long forgotten. Turns out, I had been teaching all along. Even in silence. Even in absence. Lena came in quietly. "Got another visitor," she whispered. It was Mark. Not Jacob. Mark. He stood in the hallway, stiff as always, holding something in his hand. A book. My book. The Man in Room 7. Self-published. Lena did it without telling me. He walked in slowly. "Dad," he said. "I read it." Twice. I didn't say a word. "I was angry at you," he went on. "After Mom died. I thought you gave up. On everything. On us." I stared at him. "Now I realize, it wasn't you who gave up. It was me. You needed someone. And I wasn't there. But I'm here now. If you'll let me be." I looked into his eyes. For the first time in years, I saw the boy in the man. Not a lawyer. Not a planner. Not the son who left me in a hospital bed. Just Mark. My son. "I'm not asking for a second chance," he said. "I'm just asking for the chance to show up." I stood up. Slowly. Held out my hand. He took it. And that was it. No grand forgiveness. No swelling music. Just a hand. A connection. And for the first time in over a year, I felt like a father again. Now, every Saturday, we hold History Hour in the rec room. Sometimes 2 people come. Sometimes 10. Sometimes nobody. But I still show up. Because someone might be listening. Someone might need to remember who they are. And I've learned that showing up is its own kind of revolution. Jacob visits too. He helps me with emails. Helps Joe with puzzles. Last week, he cried while reading aloud from Lisa's second letter. We didn't comfort him. We just let him cry. Sometimes, tears are the last apology you need to make. And Lena? She got promoted. But she still checks in. Every time she does, she says the same thing. "Still changing lives, Mr. J?" And I say, "One forgotten soul at a time." Last week, a young intern asked me, "Do you ever wish you had more time?" I looked out the window, at the sky turning orange over the pine trees. "No," I said. "I just wish I had started living it sooner. I wasn't put in this room to die. I was put here to be found. By others. By myself. They thought they left me in silence. But silence just made my voice louder."
Subscribe and like. And tell your friends about this video.